Big Brother 12 was the 12th season of the American reality television series Big Brother. It is based upon the Netherlands series of the same name, which gained notoriety in 1999 and 2000. The series premiered on CBS on July 8, 2010 and lasted 10 weeks until the live finale on September 15, 2010. The 12th season saw a slight increase in ratings when compared to the past season of the series. The season premiered to a total of 7.35 million viewers, a slight increase from the previous season's launch and the highest for a premiere episode since Big Brother 8. The season finale had a total of 7.89 million viewers, continuing to average slightly above the past season and the highest since the 8th edition. In total, the series averaged 7.76 million viewers, higher than that of the previous two seasons and the highest since Big Brother 5 in 2004. Big Brother 12 was initially set to feature a total of 14 house guests, though one house guest left the show before entering the house and was not replaced. The series ended after 75 days, in which HouseGuest Hayden Garrett Moss was crowned the winner, while Lane Elenburg was crowned the runner-up. The premise of the series remained largely unchanged from previous editions of the series, in which a group of contestants, known as HouseGuests, compete to win the series by voting each other off and being the last house guest remaining. One house guest, known as the head of household, must nominate two of their fellow house guests for eviction. The winner of the power of veto can remove one of the nominees from the block, forcing the HOH to nominate another house guest. The house guests then vote to evict one of the nominees, and the house guest with the most votes is evicted. When only two house guests remained, the last 7 evicted house guests, known as the jury of 7, would decide which of them would win the $500,000 prize. This season featured the saboteur twist, in which a house guest was playing solely to cause havoc in the house rather than win the prize. Should the saboteur make it past the 5th week undetected, they would leave the game and earn a $50,000 prize. The saboteur would carry out sabotages based on viewer suggestions. Though the initial saboteur failed to make it to the 5th week, a second saboteur was later brought into the game for 1 week. Following their appearance on this season, numerous house guests went on to appear in various other editions of the series. House guests Brendan Villegas and Rachel Riley would later return for Big Brother 13 in 2011. Brendan came in 9th place, while Rachel was crowned the winner. House guest Brittany Haynes later returned for Big Brother 14 in 2012 as a mentor to new house guests, though a twist in the game later made her an official house guest. She came in 8th place. Winner Hayden Moss was later a castaway on Survivor, Blood vs. Water with his girlfriend, Kata Dawson of Survivor, One World, where he finished in 7th place. Production, development. Big Brother 12 is produced by Endemol USA and Fly on the Wall Entertainment with Alison Grodner and Rich Meehan returning as executive producers. This season of the program was announced on September 10, 2009, 5 days before the season finale of Big Brother 11. Casting for the program began during the final week of Big Brother 11 with potential applicants submitting videotape submissions that were due by April 23, 2010. Open auditions began on March 27, 2010 in Los Angeles, California and continued across the nation in various cities including Chicago, Illinois, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Nevada, and Columbus, Ohio. Applicants chosen to be a finalist went to Los Angeles, California, from which 40 finalists were chosen. CBS warned people of unofficial casting companies charging a fee to audition for the show while casting ended on May 20, 2010. Executive producer Alison Grodner later stated, "We're excited for the summer. We're excited for a brand new cast of terrific competitors. And we do have that. There are personalities and backgrounds of people, types of people that we have not seen before in the Big Brother house, which is hard because we've been doing this now for 11, 12 seasons." Prizes: the 13 house guests this season were competing for the main prize of $500,000. The winner of the series, determined by the previously evicted house guests, would win the $500,000 prize, while the runner-up would receive a $50,000 prize. Other than the main prize, Various luxuries and prizes were given out throughout the season. Broadcast: Big Brother 12 was broadcast on CBS from July 8, 2010 to September 15, 2010. This season lasted a total of 75 days, an increase from the previous season. This season featured some changes to the schedule that was used in the previous edition, with episodes airing on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday each week. This is a change from the previous season, which aired on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. The Thursday episode, which aired at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, featured the live eviction and subsequent head of household competition taking place. During the live eviction, the show was hosted by Julie Chen. The Sunday episode, which aired at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, featured the food competition and nomination ceremony, as well as some highlights from the previous days. The Wednesday episode featured the Power of Veto competition and the Power of Veto ceremony, along with more highlights of recent events in the game. The series was broadcast on Global Television Network in Canada. Much like the previous editions, the live feeds were also available again for this season. HouseGuests enter the house a few days before the premiere, and the feeds are not live for the first few days. They later go live after the broadcast of the launch episode. This season did see the return of the Big Brother, After Dark spin-off series, which aired on Showtime 2 nightly from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern Time. The show served as a live feed into the house, and was edited only for slanderous statements and music copyrights. Much like the previous season, Big Brother 12 is available for digital purchasing on iTunes and Amazon.com. Big Brother maintained an online platform with live subscription feeds from real networks, a redesigned and relaunched website, online videos, full episodes, a fantasy game and segments on Inside Dish with Ross Matthews. For the first time Big Brother launched 2 Twitter accounts. One featured updates from the production staff and one featured updates from the current head of household. Episodes of Big Brother continued to be streamed on CBS mobile channel on FLO TV. Mobile users were also able to interact and influence the show through SMS text messaging and, for the first time, a simulation game based on Big Brother was also available to mobile customers. New features included a video trivia game and the Big Brother Ultimate Fan Contest where the winner was able to attend the season finale Meet the HouseGuests. House. As with each season since Big Brother 6, the program was filmed at CBS Studios in Studio City, California. The production team was located in the second story of the house, which included the story department, audio department and the switches and shaders. The house was equipped with 52 cameras and 95 microphones to record the participants. The art department that created the competitions for the program was located outside the house. The house theme was the beach and Miami. The living room featured blue and gray-colored walling and furniture. The room that had featured a gym the previous season was now known as the Cabana Room, and simply featured a large seating area. The bathroom in the house was colored in white, yellow, and brown, while yellow railing and plastic flamingos are featured by the stairs leading to the head of household room. There are various palm trees around the kitchen ceiling and the balcony at the head of household bedroom. The house included 4 bedrooms, each varying in design and comfort. The head of household bedroom featured blue, purple, and white colors, while the second bedroom was designed to be given the appearance of sunset. The third room initially used by the HouseGuests was later turned into the Have-Not room, which featured various bugs in jars with lawn chairs used as beds. Format. The format remained largely unchanged from previous seasons. HouseGuests were sequestered in the Big Brother house with no contact to and from the outside world. Each week, the HouseGuests took part in several compulsory challenges that determined who would win food, luxuries, and power in the house. The winner of the head of household competition was immune from nominations and was instructed to nominate 2 fellow HouseGuests for eviction. After a HouseGuest became head of household, he or she was ineligible to take part in the next head of household competition. HouseGuests also took part in Have versus Have Not competitions where they would be divided into either the Haves, or the Have-Nots depending on their performance in the competitions. HouseGuests that became Have-Nots for the week were only allowed to eat slop and a weekly food restriction, chosen by the viewing public, take cold showers, and sleep on lawn chairs. The winner of the Power of Veto competition won the right to save one of the nominated house guests from eviction. If the veto winner exercised the power, the head of household then had to nominate another house guest for eviction. On eviction night, all house guests except for the head of household and the two nominees voted to evict one of the two nominees. Before the voting began, the nominees had the chance to record a final message to their fellow house guests. This compulsory vote was conducted in the privacy of the diary room by the host Julie Chen. In the event of a tie, the head of household would break the tie and reveal their vote in front of the other house guests. Unlike other versions of Big Brother, the house guests could discuss the nomination and eviction process opening freely. The nominee with the most votes from the other house guests was evicted from the house on Thursday and interviewed by Julie Chen. House guests could voluntarily leave the house at any time, and those who broke the rules were expelled by Big Brother. The last 7 evictees of the season, known as the jury members, voted for the winner on the season finale. The jury members were sequestered in a separate house and were not allowed to watch the show except for segments that included all of the house guests. The jury members were not shown any diary room interviews or any footage that included strategy or details regarding nominations. House guests. 14 house guests had been cast for this season, but one, Paula Avils, a 30-year-old real estate agent, voluntarily left during the sequester period and was not replaced. The house guests entered the house on July 3, 2010. Contestants' age at the start of the season. Summary: on day 1, the original 13 house guests entered the house. Following their introductions, the house guests all learned of the saboteur twist, in which one house guest was in the house solely to cause drama amongst the group, and could target an individual house guest or the group as a whole. If the saboteur can make it past the 5th week, they will earn a $50,000 prize and will immediately leave the game. The saboteur would play the game much like their fellow house guests, being eligible to win head of household as well as the power of veto. Following this news, the house guests divided into 2 teams of 6 to compete in their first head of household competition. Due to the uneven number of house guests, Andrew chose to sit out from the competition, and it was later revealed that he had earned immunity from the first eviction for doing so. This immediately led to some house guests to suspect Andrew of being the saboteur, as he previously knew that the house guest who chose not to compete would win immunity. House guests then competed in the hot dog, "We Have a Wiener head of household competition." For this competition, one member from each team would ride an oversized hot dog wiener across the backyard in an attempt to reach the other side without falling. The house guests would earn money depending on when they made it across, with the first house guest receiving $10,000 and the amount decreasing with each person. The house guests could only keep the money if their team won the competition. The last house guest to make it across for their team would win the title of head of household. Hayden became the first head of household of the season, while Monet was the winner of the $10,000 prize. Upon returning inside, the lights in the house were shut off, and when they were turned back on, it was revealed that the saboteur had locked the storage room, meaning the house guests had nothing except for slop to eat for the next few days. On day 2, Enzo, Hayden, Lane, and Matt formed the Brigade Alliance, with the goal of being the last 4 house guests remaining. Brendan and Rachel formed a romantic relationship early on after learning they both had a background in science. On day 4, house guests competed in the sweet tooth food competition. For this competition, house guests split into 3 teams, with 1 member from each team participating at a time. The participants were required to crawl through caramel to reach a pool of popcorn where they would search for plastic teeth. The first 2 teams to find 8 teeth would win, while the losing team would be the have-nots for the week. The team of Kathy, Matt, Rachel, and Ragan were the have-nots for the week. The Brigade Alliance decided to target Brendan for eviction, fearing that he may be the saboteur as well as a strong physical threat. The group also debated nominating Rachel for eviction due to her romantic relationship with Brendan. Despite this, the saboteur later placed an X of tape on both Brittany and Kathy's memory wall images after an argument between the 2 of them occurred. implying they should be nominated that week. On day 5, Hayden chose to nominate Brendan and Rachel for eviction. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Andrew, Enzo, and Monet were selected to compete. Annie was selected to host. On day 7, HouseGuests competed in the Cinco de Mayonnaise Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests had to break open various mayonnaise-filled pinatas, with various letter tiles inside of them. The HouseGuests would collect tiles and attempt to spell a word with their collected tiles. The HouseGuest with the longest correctly spelled word would win the Power of Veto. Brendan was the winner of the Power of Veto. Following this, the Brigade Alliance debated nominating Kathy in his place in an attempt to ensure Rachel's eviction. However, they later feared that Annie had formed an alliance with Brendan and Rachel. In an attempt to cause paranoia in the house, the saboteur later made a message stating that two HouseGuests were lifelong friends who were playing the game together. This was not true. Annie later found out that she was a candidate to be nominated, and attempted to convince Hayden to nominate Brittany for eviction instead. On day 9, Brendan chose to use the Power of Veto to remove himself from the block, with Annie being nominated in his place. On day 13, Annie became the first HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 10-0. Following Annie's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Majority Rules Head of Household competition. For this competition, the HouseGuests were asked a series of questions about which of two HouseGuests would adhere to certain situations. The object was not to base the answer on personal opinions, but how they thought the majority would answer. The minority of the voters were eliminated each round. If there was a tie, none of the HouseGuests would be eliminated. Rachel was the winner. On day 14, HouseGuests competed in the BB Stick 'em Up food competition. For this competition, HouseGuests split into 3 teams and taped one of their team members to a wall with the goal of being the last team to have their player on the wall. The winners of the competition would select one team to be the have-nots for the week. The other teams could spray water at their opponents, thus causing them to fall sooner. Brendan, Brittany, Enzo, and Monet were the have-nots for the week. Shortly following the competition, the HouseGuests learned that Annie had been the saboteur in a video message. Later that day, Rachel chose to nominate Brittany and Monet for eviction, with Monet being her main target for eviction. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Brendan, Lane, and Enzo were selected to compete. Ragan was selected to host. On day 15, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Stockades Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests were positioned in a stockade while holding onto a briefcase. The goal of the competition was to drop their briefcase closest to the 1-hour mark without going over. The HouseGuest who was closest to 1 hour without going over would be the winner. Brittany was the winner of the Power of Veto. Though Brittany and Monet attempted to convince Rachel to nominate Andrew, Matt later offered to go up as a pawn to ensure Monet's eviction. On day 17, Brittany chose to use the Power of Veto to remove herself from the block, with Matt being nominated in her place. On day 20, Monet became the second HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a vote of 7-2. Following Monet's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Hang 10 Endurance Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests stood atop surfboards that would continuously go into and out of the wall. The first 5 HouseGuests to be eliminated would earn food for the week, while the last 4 to be eliminated were the have-nots for the week. Matt was the winner, while Andrew, Brendan, Enzo, and Ragan were the have-nots for the week. Soon after his win, Matt's Brigade Alliance began pressuring him to nominate Brendan and Rachel for eviction. However, Matt was upset with Kathy for voting against him the previous week. Matt later made a deal with Brendan and Rachel to keep them safe, with the two promising Matt safety should they win head of household the following week. On day 21, Matt chose to nominate Andrew and Kathy for eviction, though he claimed he would backdoor Brendan should the Power of Veto be used. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Brendan, Lane, and Rachel were selected to compete. Enzo was selected to host. On day 22, HouseGuests competed in the Veto of Fortune Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests had to determine the quantity of an object used to make an object. Each round, HouseGuests could either stay or fold. Folding would allow them to continue in the game, but could not get a point, whereas the HouseGuest with the answer closest to the correct one would earn a point, though the farthest was eliminated. Brendan was the winner of the Power of Veto. In an attempt to convince the HouseGuests that Andrew was against Brendan and Rachel, Andrew and Brendan devised a plan to have Andrew announce that he was targeting Brendan and Rachel during the Power of Veto ceremony. On day 23, Brendan chose not to use the Power of Veto on either nominee. On day 27, Andrew revealed moments before voting began that Hayden and Kristen had a romantic relationship, causing much drama in the house. Minutes later, Andrew became the third HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 8-0. Following Andrew's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the BB Knockout Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests faced off two at a time and were asked questions about past competitions played this season. The winner of each round would select the next two HouseGuests to face off, with the last HouseGuest remaining being the winner. Rachel was the winner. Following her win, Rachel and Kristen engaged in numerous arguments with one another, with Hayden and Brendan also getting involved. On day 28, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Cop Course Luxury competition. For this competition, HouseGuests split into 3 teams and attempted to complete an obstacle course in the fastest time while inside a plastic police car. The winning team, along with Rachel, would earn the right to watch the film The Other Guys. Brendan, Enzo, and Hayden were the winning team. Later that day, Rachel chose to nominate Hayden and Kristen for eviction. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Brittany, Enzo, and Ragan were selected to compete. Brendan was selected to host. On day 29, HouseGuests competed in the Wizards of Pinball Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests shot a pinball in an attempt to make it land in the center of the playing field. The HouseGuest furthest away each round was eliminated. Whenever a HouseGuest was eliminated, they earned a prize. However, a HouseGuest who is eliminated after them can take that prize. Brittany was the winner of the Power of Veto. Following this, Brittany made a deal to take Hayden off the block if he could convince Rachel to nominate Kathy in his place. Despite Rachel initially agreeing to this, she later told Brittany she would nominate Lane if the Power of Veto was used. Brittany, who was close to Lane, later became torn on the situation. On day 31, Brittany chose not to use the Power of Veto on either nominee. When Hayden told Kristen he would not campaign against her, she began to realize that he had an alliance with the other men in the house. She later attempted to get Brittany and Ragan on her side and turn against the male alliance, however, they weren't sure if the alliance really existed or not. On day 34, Kristen became the 4th HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a vote of 6-1. Following Kristen's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the True Colors Endurance Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests stood on an oversized paint can while holding on to railing on the sides in an attempt to be the last one remaining on the can. The first HouseGuest to drop from the competition would be the only have-not for the week. Matt was the winner, while Kathy became the have-not for the week. On day 35, Matt was given the opportunity to open Pandora's box. He chose to open it. He was awarded with the Diamond Power of Veto, which he could use during a live eviction to remove one nominated HouseGuest from the block as well as name the replacement nominee. Due to Matt opening the box, however, it was revealed to the HouseGuests that a new saboteur was in the game, with the viewers deciding who the new saboteur should be. Ragan was selected. Unlike Annie, the new saboteur would earn $20,000 for completing 2 weeks' worth of sabotage and would not be removed from the game. Matt later lied to his fellow HouseGuests, claiming he had only won $1 while inside Pandora's box. Later that day, Matt chose to nominate Brendan and Rachel for eviction. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Brittany, Enzo, and Kathy were selected to compete. Ragan, who won a veto ticket in the previous Power of Veto competition, was also able to compete. On day 36, HouseGuests competed in the Lovers Lane Power of Veto competition. For this competition, former HouseGuests Jordan Lloyd and Jeff Schroeder returned as hosts. One HouseGuests would attempt to knock down as many pins as possible within 45 seconds, and then challenge one HouseGuest to challenge. If the challenged HouseGuest does better than their challenger, then the challenger is eliminated. Ptney was the winner of the Power of Veto. Rachel, in an attempt to get Ptney to use the Power of Veto, offered Ptney the $5,000 Rachel had won in the previous Power of Veto competition. Rachel believed that if Kathy was nominated against Brendan then Kathy would be evicted. Ptney denied to do so, telling Rachel that all of the HouseGuests were against Brendan and Rachel, thus using the Power of Veto would be pointless. On day 38, Ptney chose not to use the Power of Veto on either nominee. Brendan later engaged in numerous arguments with his fellow HouseGuests in an attempt to convince them to evict him over Rachel. On day 41, Rachel became the fifth HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 6-0. She became the first member of the jury of 7. Following Rachel's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Oh What a Tangled Web Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests attempted to be the first to fully untangle their rope from various obstacles. The winner of the competition would also select 3 HouseGuests to be have-nots for the week. Brendan was the winner, and chose Ptney, Matt, and Ragan to be the have-nots for the week. In an attempt to protect himself for the following week, Brendan made a deal with Ptney that she would keep him safe should she win Head of Household in exchange for safety this week. She agreed to this deal. On day 42, Brendan chose to nominate Ragan and Lane for eviction, with Ragan being his main target. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Enzo, Hayden, and Kathy were selected to compete. On day 43, HouseGuests competed in the Zingbot 3000 Power of Veto competition. For this competition, a robot known as the Zingbot 3000 entered the house to host the competition, which required HouseGuests to travel back and forth on a platform in an attempt to solve a puzzle. The first HouseGuest to solve the puzzle would win the Power of Veto. Ragan was the winner of the Power of Veto. Later that day, Brendan was given the opportunity to open Pandora's box. He chose to open it. He learned that he would leave the house for 24 hours for a spa vacation, where he believed Rachel would be as well. While he was gone, Rachel entered the house for 24 hours. During her time in the house, Rachel engaged in numerous arguments with Ragan, and later attempted to communicate with Brendan by spelling Matt out with pretzels, implying he should be nominated. On day 44, Rachel left the house and Brendan returned. On day 45, Ragan chose to use the Power of Veto to remove himself from the block, with Matt being nominated in his place. On day 48, Matt chose to use the Diamond Power of Veto to remove himself from the block, nominating Kathy in his place. Minutes later, Kathy became the 6th HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 5-0. She became the second member of the jury of 7. Following Kathy's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Says Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests were asked true or false questions about a game of Simon Says the group had played the previous day. An incorrect answer resulted in elimination, and the last HouseGuest remaining was the winner. Ptney was the winner. On day 49, HouseGuests competed in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly food competition. For this competition, HouseGuests competed in teams and all 3 members took a drink, one of which tasted bad. If the other team could correctly guess which HouseGuest had taken the bad shot, they would earn a point, and the team with the most points would win. The team of Brendan, Enzo, and Hayden became the have-nots for the week. Despite having previously promised him safety the previous week, Ptney later debated nominating Brendan for eviction. Matt later urged her to nominate Enzo as a pawn against Brendan, though the other members of the brigade hoped to see Matt nominated as a pawn. Later that day, Ptney chose to nominate Brendan and Enzo for eviction. When picking players for the Power of Veto competition, Hayden, Lane, and Matt were selected to compete. Ragan was the host. On day 50, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Zoo Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests would accept punishments in exchange for veto points, and could accept prizes in exchange for veto points. The HouseGuest with the most veto points would be the winner. Brendan was the winner. Later that day, Brittany was given the opportunity to open Pandora's box. She chose to open it. While she was locked inside with former HouseGuest Jesse Godderts, the other HouseGuests earned a party in the backyard. On day 52, Brendan chose to use the power of veto to remove himself from the block, with Matt being nominated in his place. On day 55, Matt became the 7th HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 4-0. HouseGuests then took part in a surprise double eviction week, meaning another HouseGuest would be evicted that night. HouseGuests competed in the Delivering the Goods Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests had to search through packaging peanuts in an attempt to find the names of the two specific HouseGuests. Hayden was the winner. Hayden then chose to nominate Brendan and Ragan for eviction. HouseGuests then competed in the Before or After Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests had to determine whether one event happened before or after another by stepping up or down on a staircase. Ragan was the winner. Ragan chose to use the power of veto to remove himself from the block, with Brittany being nominated in his place. Brendan then became the 8th HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 3-0. He became the 4th member of the jury of 7. Following Brendan's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Blackjack Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests were given 2 cards totaling 21 and attempted to make their ball land on the grid area with the given cards. The HouseGuest who is the least successful each round is eliminated, with the last HouseGuest remaining winning. Lane was the winner. Ragan, who had come to realize that Enzo, Hayden, and Lane were in an alliance, feared for his safety. Lane was later given the opportunity to open Pandora's box. He chose to open it. He was able to select 3 cash prizes, however, for each prize he took a punishment would be placed on the HouseGuests. The punishments bestowed upon the house saw the removal of all of the silverware and cups in the house, speak only with sock puppets for 12 hours, and having to dance whenever music was played in the house. On day 56, Lane chose to nominate Enzo and Ragan for eviction, with the goal of evicting Ragan. On day 57, HouseGuests competed in the Ott of the Broadway Clown Power of Veto competition. For this competition, Otto would sing a song about 2 HouseGuests and the competing HouseGuests attempt to find a CD named after the 2 HouseGuests. The last HouseGuest to find the CD each round was eliminated, with the last remaining HouseGuest being the winner. Enzo was the winner. On day 59, Enzo chose to use the power of veto to remove himself from the block, with Hayden being nominated in his place. Lane's decision to not nominate Brittany led to Enzo and Hayden being upset with him, though the brigade still remained intact. On day 62, Ragan became the 9th HouseGuest to be evicted from the house in a unanimous vote of 2-0. He became the 5th member of the jury of 7. Following Ragan's eviction, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Christmas Head of Household competition. For this competition, HouseGuests had to maneuver Christmas ornaments into cups using only their fingers through a fence. The first HouseGuests to get all of their ornaments in the cups, which form the shape of a Christmas tree, and get their star to the top would be the winner. Hayden was the winner. On day 63, HouseGuests competed in the hide-and-seek luxury competition. For this competition, HouseGuests entered the house one at a time and were given 90 seconds to hide their individual coin anywhere in the house. Following this, the HouseGuests searched the house in an attempt to find the other coins. The HouseGuest with the last coin found would win a $10,000 prize. Brittany was the winner. Later that day, Hayden chose to nominate Brittany and Lane for eviction. On day 64, HouseGuests competed in the Big Brother Mark Final Power of Veto competition. For this competition, HouseGuests were given various movie posters with the faces of 2 previously evicted HouseGuests on each of them. There were 2 facts listed on the board, and the house guests had to match the movie poster with the two house guests described with the facts. There was only one correct order, and the first house guest to finish would be the winner. Hayden was the winner of the final power of veto. Following this win, it ensured that Ptney would be evicted and that the brigade would be the final remaining house guests. This led to the Brigade Alliance telling Ptney that they were aligned and that she would be evicted that week, leading to her breaking down crying. On day 67, Hayden chose not to use the power of veto on either nominee. Minutes later, Enzo cast the sole vote to evict Ptney from the House. She became the sixth member of the jury of 7. Following Ptney's eviction, house guests began competing in the Rumble in the Big Brother Jungle Head of Household competition. For this competition, house guests attempted to be the last one remaining on their swing while being slammed into a wall. Hayden was the winner, thus advancing to the third and final round. Enzo and Lane later competed in the It's Alive competition. For this competition, house guests had to correctly figure out which two faces of the house guests made up a set of alien faces. The house guest who finished the competition in the fastest amount of time was the winner. Lane was the winner. On day 75, Hayden and Lane competed live in the jury statement's final head of household competition. For this competition, house guests were asked to finish a sentence made by one of the 6 members of the jury of 7. The house guest with the most points would be the winner. Following a tiebreaker question, Hayden became the final head of household of the season. Minutes later, Hayden cast the sole vote to evict Enzo, making Hayden and Lane the final 2. Hayden was then crowned the winner of Big Brother 12 in a vote of 4-3. Have-nots, voting history. Notes: Note 1 AAA1 Annie was the Big Brother's saboteur, who was to perform various tasks to disrupt the lives of the other house guests. She would have won $50,000 if she had survived the first 5 weeks in the house without being evicted. Note 2 AAAA Since the Andrew volunteered to be the mascot and sit out the first head of household competition, he was given immunity for week 1. Note 3 As head of household, Matt was given the opportunity to open Pandora's box. He chose to open it, therefore earning him a diamond power of veto. The diamond power of veto was good for 2 weeks and the user could veto a nominee and also be able to choose the replacement nominee. Note 4 AAA2 Due to current head of household Matt opening Pandora's box, Ragan was offered to be the Big Brother saboteur for 2 weeks. Ragan accepted the offer and earned himself $20,000 for surviving both weeks. Note 5 AAAA Matt used the diamond power of veto shortly before the eviction ceremony. He vetoed his own nomination and named Kathy as his replacement. Note 6 AAAA Matt could not have nominated Ragan as he was in possession of the power of veto. Brendan, as reigning head of household, was immune from nomination as well and was unable to vote. Note 7 A week 7 was a double eviction week. Following Matt's eviction, the remaining house guests played a week's worth of game including hoaching veto competitions, a nomination, veto, and eviction ceremonies during the remainder of the weekly live show, culminating in a second eviction for the week. Note 8 During the finale, the jury members vote for which finalist should win Big Brother. Reception, ratings. The season premiere of Big Brother 12, which aired on CBS on July 8, attracted 7.35 million viewers, with a 2.4 rating in adults 18 to 49. The ratings were mixed in its time slot, with its nearest competition, a new episode of Wipeout on ABC placing first in viewers with 7.9 million viewers. Big Brother 12 was first in total households with a 4.4/8 compared to Wipeout's 4.3/8 and was first in adults 18 to 34. Both shows tied in the adults 18 to 49 and adults 25 to 54 demographics with a 2.4/9 and a 2.9/9 respectively. When compared to the season premiere of Big Brother 11, viewers were up 11%. Adults 18 to 34 posted a 17% increase while both adults 18 to 49 and adults 25 to 54 were up 4%. Big Brother 12 has experienced ratings growth versus season 11 in viewership and adults 18 to 49 for every episode. Episode 22 reached multiple season highs while Episode 21 saw the highest adults 18 to 34 rating since 2007. For the season, Big Brother 12 averaged 7.31 million viewers, a substantial increase over the season 11 average of 6.86 million viewers. Viewing figures: rating is the estimated percentage of all televisions tuned to the show, and share is the percentage of all televisions in use that are tuned in. Viewers is the estimated number of viewers that watched a program either while it was broadcast or watched via DVR on the same day the program was broadcast. Note 1: Episode 16 had several preemptions in many regions due to football. Note 2: Episode 17 had several preemptions, especially in Colorado and Kentucky. Also, due to golf overrun, the show was delayed by over an hour. Note 3: Episode 19 had several national football preemptions. Note 4: Episode 22 had several football preemptions in places such as Boston. Note 5: Episode 25 had many preemptions throughout the country, especially in major markets such as New York and Atlanta, and was only airing at its original time in about 50% of American markets. References. External links: CBS official site, Global TV official site.